Welcome to Full Stack Web Development Program. In the previous session, we have started working on connection of front end with backend APIs. So I'll quickly give you a demonstration of what we have built. We have building a doctor's application, and I have deployed the application on hackweather.in/doctor. So in the previous session, what we did, as soon as we load the application looks somewhat like this: 3 easy steps and get your solution. And now we have implemented the search facility where we can type name of the doctors which we want to search and in the area where we want to send. So I'm putting one example, and once we click on search, so this section gets modified where we push a message, doctors found in area or no doctors found in your area, and followed by information of the doctor along with a photograph, name of the doctor, and a specific description. We can also search in a way where we can remove it and we can identify all the doctors which are available. So now you can see that in the previous session, the content which we were printing here were getting overloaded, okay? Which means you can see the content is displaying one over other. So what are we going to do? We have to modify the cascading style sheet property here, okay? In order to modify the cascading style sheet property, you need to see the content which is being displayed here. So I'm going to quickly inspect the content. Once you see, sorry. So the content, search, right click, inspect the element. So I'm going to right click on this, inspect the element. Once I inspect the element, you can see that this is the content, title search for the doctor, Dr. Ayush Gupta. This is the content which is being displayed. Now you can see that we have got approximately 4 doctor responses returned. And we are displaying this within this section known as search section. So within the search section, you can see that this part is fine, which is the label title. But other than this, there are 4 elements which are being returned from the database. Now, we have to arrange these elements in a horizontal order. In order to arrange them in a horizontal order, what do we need to do? I'm going to modify the CSS property, and the CSS property within the CSS file index.css is created with the name search section WYJXXJ. So I'm going to copy this. And what are we going to do? Before getting into modification, we can actually modify it right from the browser itself just to see how is it working. And then we can reach out to the main code and modify the content. So what we can do is we can quickly go to the sources. Within the sources, we have to go to the CSS property, and I want to check the index.css property. And here I want to find the class. So the class of this content has been searched, and we can see that we have identified it here. Okay. Name of the property is somewhat like this: search section WYJXXJ, which shows there's a background color, there's a bottom file, there's a height file, there's a left pixel file arranged from 117 pixel. Then there are pointer events, there is position. So currently what I want to do is I want to arrange it in a horizontal order. So I'm going to make it float, and with the float, I'm going to arrange the contents to the right. So once I arrange the contents to the right, the content must have arranged on the right hand side. But since the position is absolute, so with absolute, the X and Y coordinates are fixed. So what are we going to do? We are going to make the content displayed in a relative manner with respect to contents in order. So I will change this position from absolute to relative. So once I do it relative, you can see that now the content has been arranged in the horizontal order, but it is displayed to above, which means the property, the relative property has gone a little up. So now what are we going to do? We're going to put a property, top property, and let's say we can say 350 pixels. Okay. So 350 seems too far. So I'll keep it somewhere like 250 pixels. Okay. So 250 pixels gives you a good advantage. So what you can do is we can define these two properties. The content should be displayed top from this particular position. Now you can see that it has been aligned a little to the right also. So I'm going to remove this left property. So now you can see that the display looks fine to us. So three properties we have modified. We have removed the left property. We have changed the position to relative. We have set the float right, and we have set the top to 250 pixel for this class, search section WYJXXJ. Okay. So currently I have set the property, and you can see that the content is displayed in this manner. We can also arrange the content in a little more left or a little more right, depending on the design. Okay. So now what are we going to do? We are going to, but since we have currently changed the content on the browser only, if you refresh the content, what would really happen? You can see that in case if you search again, the content is arranged in the previous manner, the way it was arranged earlier. So what do we need to do? We need to modify this in the main CSS file within the code. So to do that, what I have to do, I quickly get into my cPanel where I have uploaded my codes. So how to upload the code on cPanel, that we have already taught in the previous session. So we have to get into the CSS property now. Within the CSS property, I'm going to modify the index.css property. And within this index.css, I need to search for the property search section this. So there will be four properties which I want to do. First, I'm going to remove the left property. Second, I want to change the position to relative. Third, I want to change the float position to right so that the content is arranged on the right. And I want to introduce a top value of 250 pixels. Okay, I'm going to save the changes. Now, once I save the changes now, and I go to the code now. So I've clicked on search. Currently, the content is displayed in this way. Now I have gone to search the doctors and let's say I want to search all the doctors in the database. So I think the content is cached. I will quickly reload it. Save the property. And I'm going to open the content here in the incognito mode. So I've gone to the doctors page. To modify the search section property. Once I click on search, you can see that the content is being displayed appropriately in a horizontal order now. Is that clear? So depending on how many elements you are having in your code. So let's say I'm searching for general in Rohini. So I'm going to get only 3 elements identified: Vipul Rastogi, Vimal Kumar Dubey. And if I go into the fourth one, that's a Shalimar, I'm going to get only 1 element arranged. So it will be arranged from right to left order. So we can also do one thing. We can keep the float to left. Okay. So there is one more property which you can do. I'm going to inspect the element and we can modify it to float left also. So let's say with which the elements will be arranged from the left to right manner. I'll quickly check that as well. So I'll go to index.css. I'm going to search for it. And instead of float right, let's keep it float left. Okay. So with float left, the content will be arranged from left to right manner. Okay. So let me just modify the property from float right to float left, which means it will be arranged from left to right manner. So I've saved it. Now I'm going to refresh. So once I refresh with the left property, now I'm going to search the doctors, and you can see that now I'm getting the doctors arranged in an appropriate manner, right from left to right. And I can keep the left pixel to 117 pixels the way it was created earlier, left to 117 pixel. I'm going to save it. And I'm going to refresh it once again. So currently the content is arranged appropriately the way it should have been arranged. And the top property could also be, that's a 240 pixel. Keep it 240 pixel. Let me quickly search. In fact, I'll make it above 220 pixels. I want to arrange it with respect to the same value, which should be aligned with the other elements. Okay. So now you can see that it is at 220 pixel and all the three are aligned on a common alignment from the top. So once I refresh the page now, you can see that I'm getting the content arranged properly. And once I search the elements, so I get the doctors printed again. And this time the view is appropriately fine. Okay. So now we got the doctors found in our area. Now if I search something like general in the Rohini area, and if I search, so I'm going to get the appropriate 3 doctors. If I want to search in the Shalimar region, and if I click on search, I'm going to get the doctor arranged or displayed from left to right manner. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So this is how we can quickly modify the cascading style sheet property.